Welcome. Let's get started. Sorry for the delay. Had to make sure everything was lined up. Let's get started.
Well, excuse me, take a few minutes to mellow out. Big Daddy Kane is on the mic, and I'ma tell about a minimum length of rhymes with strength and power. So listen to the man of the hour. Flow and go to a slow tempo, and you know, sing ho, swing low, then yo, the show will go on as I perform, transforming on stage like a Decepticon. But I'm not animated like a cartoon, I'm for real, shooting lyrics like a harpoon. Across the crowd, the listeners and spectators, so let's groove with the smooth operator. Just sound so smooth. Just sound so smooth. The B-I-G-D-A-double-D-Y-K-A-N-E, I'm good and plenty, serving many and any competition, wishing for an expedition. I'm straight up dissing and dismissing. Listen, rappers act so wild, I love the profile, frontin' hard but ain't got no style. I give nightmares to those who compete. Freddy Krueger walking on King Street, confuse and lose, abuse and bruise the grooves and choose to use my name wrong, they pay dues. Destruction from the exterminator, but in a calm manner, cause I'm a smooth operator. Just sound so smooth. Just sound so smooth. Now girl, step up to this. One simple kiss, and it's over, miss. Sold a nice dream as high as the price seemed, girlfriend. You've been scooped like ice cream. So just swing or fling or gather ring, try to cling. Cause it's a big daddy thing. And I'm loving them right words born. So just play Marvin Gaye and let's get it on. I make it real good like Dr. Feel Good to make sure that my point is understood. That when it comes to this, there's none greater. Sincerely yours, the smooth operator. Just sound so smooth. Just sound so smooth. Now ain't that the Bockel and the Kittle Black saying I'm a new jack? You need to be smacked. Smooth way I say them and the way I display them to make them sound different in the way that's gifted and ham. Making sure every lyric is done fine, and I make one line bright as the sunshine. Doesn't on a cough if you know like I know. Step off. Competition, I'ma get rid of. You can't get a bit of. So just consider a break, a rest, vacation, hibernation, and make way for my smooth operation. I'm a smooth operator.
Do 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 do. Can't get a better, so just consider. We are about to get going. We're going to continue what we left off yesterday. And it's going to be a lot more streams that I'm going to be showing down Stream Boulevard. I mean, all this stuff is pretty much kind of just relevant, just touching bases. You know, I always got to do my promotions and advertisements, you know what I'm saying, for free. Ain't nothing. Hopefully they watching and, you know, appreciate what I'm doing. But I'm not making no money off you. We'll talk about that later.
Hey, how y'all doing today, man? How you know Tender here? You follow me? Wow. Ain't that something? It's just where all the food is. It's good. Boy, I gotta go up here to this counter, huh? Hey, all right, Josephine.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, they say you got some chicken down here. They say might be Tender here. That's why I'm here.
Let me go.
They said, boy, look at here, you putting it down like the old hungry hound, huh? Like a fat cheese factory.
Let's go.
I'm ready like ready. All right. Oh, wait a minute, I can't do it. Oh, yeah, no, oh, that's a booyah here. Look at him. Look. Yeah.
My fried chicken, candy yams, mac and cheese, our viral blueberry cornbread, and mustard greens today.
Oh my God, security. Lock the door. No, this is cornbread here.
Address is 1202 West Winton Avenue in Hayward, California, Hayward. Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 4. Everything is always cooked to order, made fresh, and everything made with love each and every time. Come give us a try. Get the Josephine experience.
Shout out to Hayward. I'll be there.
Good afternoon, people. Stone Live here, coming to you from Epona. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to look at the epic movie that came out in 2006, and that was The Last King of Scotland. And for those individuals that, are scholars or would consider themselves to be scholars, those individuals of meticulous study, would look at this picture and not really blink an eye. But it's those individuals that, haven't really, acquired the knowledge, particularly when it comes to those monarchs and those kings of those European sovereigns that ruled during ancient times, and how those sovereigns reflected a picture in the mirror that looked just like you and me. So,
All right, so I just want to stop it real quick. Now, if you guys haven't seen this movie, you need to watch it. I mean, they always throw in, the pale skin and all the gory stuff and all that. But watch that movie, because it's interesting why they were called Idi Amin, the last king of Scotland. Last king of Scotland. And then people want to act like the Pope bending over and kissing the feet of those so-called Africans. Fake. But you look at them and you think they're African.
a lot of people who saw this movie, even including, quote unquote, those white people who saw this movie were shocked as it relates to the title. Why would this guy, why would Forrest Whitaker projecting this role as Idi Amin, consider himself the last king of the Scotland? And what does it mean? What does it all mean? With respect to context. So let's look at it a little bit, and let's try to figure out, what they meant with the title "Last King of Scotland." Was it literal, or was it just a figurative, assertion of what Idi Amin represented to the so-called quote unquote Scottish people? Let's check it out. Okay, it says here, "The Last King of Scotland" is a 2006 historical drama film directed by Kevin MacDonald from a screenplay by Peter Morgan and Jeremy Brock, based on...
Now, you can tell this guy's a rookie. I think he doesn't understand that his stuff is sideways. But nevertheless, more listening than anything else.
Giles Foden's 1998 novel. Its plot depicts the dictatorship of Ugandan President Idi Amin through the perspective of Nicholas Garrigan. Now, remember, Nicholas Garrigan was the quote unquote white guy who came and assisted Idi Amin as his doctor, and he was also Scottish. Okay, all right. So it says here, the film stars Forrest Whitaker, James McAvoy, Kerry Washington, Simon McBurney, and Gillian Anderson. The title of the film refers to Amin's spurious claims of being the King of Scotland. Okay, so now the important word here would be spurious. So let's see what spurious means, so we can try to understand how that...
All right, let me fast forward this for the sake of time.
Therefore, independent, but also reasonable and practical, and also a man that understood his Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, essentially what they're saying here when they use the word spurious is that, Idi Amin was lying. He was off his rocker. He had no business, making these claims or even asserting them out loud that he was somehow, the last king of Scotland. And therefore, it may explain why they portrayed him as this, out of control fool, this idiot, who was bloodthirst. And was completely out of his mind. So let's look into the mind now of Idi Amin, from the perspective of him being in control, of him being a man who was reasonable and practical, and also a man that understood his place and therefore his history as it relates to the Scottish people. Okay, all right. Okay, so it says that Uganda was not founded by a single individual, but rather formed as a British protectorate. Okay, so Uganda came under the British, okay, in 1894 and gained independence on October 9th, 1962. So this is a new nation state. This is a newly formed nation state that was, like many other so-called colonies, came under the rule of the British. The territory was formed by the British joining various kingdoms, most notably Buganda, which was traditionally founded by Kintu. Okay, so Buganda was the indigenous territory that came under now the umbrella of the commercial name, that being Uganda. Okay. Milton Obote led the country to independence as its first prime minister. Okay, so we know that when you hear terms like prime minister, we know that those are now terms that come under the corporate structure. Therefore, now falling under the nation state name of Uganda. Okay, formed in October 9th, 1962.
All right. So these places that were formed in the 1900s, these are you have people that are actually equating these to ancient African empires when they're not. It's right there. That's Wikipedia sideways. But where do these people come from? Most of all their stories say they come from somewhere else. Oh, well, let me not say all. Most pretty much say they come from somewhere else. They all have a travel story of origin. They all do.
Says here, Kintu, 12th to 14th century, considered the founder of Kabaka of the Buganda kingdom, which forms the basis of modern Uganda. Okay, so just like with a lot of these territories, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about places like Uganda, places like Nigeria, places like Ghana, Senegal. These were all.
This guy's slow, man. See, this is like boring. To me, I'm trying to fight through it. I want to fast forward it. So I'm going to be patient. My patience does not exist. Patience does not exist. Any form of patience does not exist when it comes to information. If you know the information, all the and the and the, I mean, come on, man. Snap it. Don't just think you ran into something, just throw it out there. You got to have some reference base. But he's slow, man. It's a little irritating, but I'm going to get through it.
These are all corporate commercial names that have been placed in relation or pursuant to the corporate entity. In other words, they don't represent the indigenous name of the territory or the people. See, we just know the people as, being Ghanaians, right, or Nigerians. But really, if you go back far enough, you know that they fall under their indigenous names. And that's why you'll have some people, when you go to, Nigeria, they'll tell you that, they're not Nigerian, and they'll give you their indigenous name. Same with the people of Ghana, and I'm sure with the people of Uganda. So we must understand that too. And like them, Idi Amin understood who he was. Now, he might have been the product of Mixtec Nation, or what you call a half-breed. So that we're going to look into that now to see if that's the case.
Man, come on,
Okay,
man.
it says here Idi Amin's parents were Amin Dada Nayabira to Marisu and Aisha Shamaru Aite. They were of mixed ethnic heritage, belonging to the Kakwa and Lugbara groups in northwestern Uganda. So I'm assuming that the Kakwa and Lugbara were indigenous groups who shared the same territories, right? But they, also were distinct from the standpoint of maybe their language, traditions, and culture. Okay, so this was a 50-50 cross, so to speak. This was a hybrid breeding, meaning it was a breeding of two groups that was distinct from each other. It wasn't within the same group.
All right, man. I heard something different. I gotta come back to this. This is just out of control. Let's keep going.
You've seen the image of Bata. The image of Bata is exactly the same as the image of the Oscar. The Oscar is the highest. The Oscar is the highest award that is given by the National Academy of Artists and Craftsmen. All right. Ptah was the patron god of Menepra, the city of Memphis. He was the patron god of artists and craftsmen.
You guys get that? Big Dog, what's going on, brother? Big Dog Philly, what's going on? What's going on, Richie Rich? You guys get that?
All right. They didn't even bother to change the concept. They didn't even change the pose. Our images, our culture is everywhere. That's why they don't want you all reading this stuff. That's why they don't want you all coming to these lectures. That's why they don't want you all teaching this stuff in the classroom. Here is the eye of Heru, the son of God, the right eye of Heru, the eye of the falcon. The eye of the falcon is important because the falcon flies above the earth, has keen vision. Falcons are birds of prey which have over 1 billion vision cells in their eyes, in contrast to humans that have approximately 1.5 million vision cells. So falcons represent, like God, the ability to see everywhere instantaneously, keen insight. And so the eye of Heru was modified and used as the symbol for the logo for CBS. I just discovered this past summer that it
What'd he say?
was a brother at CBS who designed this logo and later quit after they refused to pay him for his creation. This symbol represents the lens of the camera, which, like the eye of Heru, the eye of God, has the ability to see everywhere instantaneously and to transmit that information in a matter of seconds.
Now, let me say something real quick about that. I'm gonna relate this to how we normally act as brothers. You know what I'm saying? We do things just by happenstance. Like, we good at something. When we know we good at something, we gravitate to it and we perfect it. So him making that eye, just for an example, him making that eye was just like, wait a minute. He didn't know about no Heru. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But we're going to say you can tell that picture is an old picture. But something that just came into his mind in the creative sense, he was like, man, let me draw this up. Hey, use this as CBS. You know, I like this logo. They like, yeah, we like that. But see, when you got people that won't pay somebody for their intellectual property and to take it, is because they always know who we are. They know where that just that natural instinct is coming from. They know it. And it's something that they can't do. When I say they can't do it, they can't do it. All they know how to do is rob, steal, lie. You know? That's all they know how to do. But that's just something I just want to relate to that. We just do what we do, right? That's just something, man. I do what I do. Hey, I don't know, man. Just it is what it is. How you just put that thing between your legs and cocked it back and dunked it? I don't know. I just thought about it in the air. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little sizzle reel together on just creative things that you just see somebody doing. You know what I mean? Just the best part to reference is athletes, physical things being done on the fly. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do something like that. So you just know that what we do is just what we do. Guess what? And it ain't going to stop. It's not going to stop. They can go rob and make that, go lay claim to it. They like, shit. Oh boy, it was like, I'm cool. I'm gone. You on, baby? I'm out. Guess what he probably did? We don't know who that brother is, but I guarantee that brother did a whole lot of good business after that. He was like, damn, I got something here. Shit, they really wanted that. And they wouldn't pay it. And they still using it today. Gotta find who did that. Maybe he got paid. Maybe he eventually got paid. All right, next.
Good afternoon. This is History Unknown, and I'm standing in front of the historical Orchard Street Church in Baltimore City. This is not just a church, but it's the oldest standing structure built by African Americans in Baltimore City. The founder of this church is Truett Pratt.
All right. Now this is where you gotta constructively criticize your brother and sister. Nobody's above reproach. I was told by old man, a man that can't take a check is not to be trusted. Let me say it again. A man that can't take a check can't be trusted. Let me say it again. A man that can't take a check can't be trusted. Constructive criticism is always good. Now, women, our sisters, shit, miss me on that. You could try, shit, but they always right, even when they wrong. Even when they wrong. All right, so let's get back to it. Nope. Let's go back to the. No, let's go. Bam. Nope. Bam. There you go. All right. Let's go back just a little bit.
Church, but it's the oldest standing structure built by African Americans in Baltimore City.
Look at the structure for what you see so far. Let me blow it up just a second. Let me blow that up. Look at that. Before we go forward, I want you to look at what you can look at this point in time. Look at them tall doors. Look at all that stuff right there.
Good afternoon.
You know what I mean? Just take a look. And then we'll let him continue.
This is History Unknown, and I'm standing in front of the historical Orchard Street Church in Baltimore City. This is not just a church, but it's the oldest standing structure built by African Americans in Baltimore City.
I wish I had Sharice up here.
Founder of this church is Truett Pratt, and in 1825, from his home, he started having church meetings. By 1837, they had a building that was built, and guess what? They built this building themselves at nighttime. Enslaved and free African Americans built this building at nighttime by torchlight.
They built that at night with a torchlight. Now, here's what we're going to do. We are going to, for the sake of argument, we're going to look up a picture what? I'll be damned. Oh, man, that's crazy. Anyway, man, me going over here, I just saw something that just is disturbing. That's crazy. Let's see what a torchlight is. Dang, that's messed up. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Come on. Hey, man, picture of a torch light. Man, what's going on, man? You telling me I can't get no views? Hold on. There we go. There we go. Come on, man. Get the hell out of here. All right. Let's go back to it real quick. Let's add this to the stage. This is what is a torch right here. Picture of a torchlight. All right. Now, this is new torchlights. These are new torchlights. All right. So now we need a picture of an old torchlight. In the 1800s. In America. This says this is an old vintage torchlight with modern look stock. So this right here would be considered a torchlight. Where do these cats get this from, man? Why are they so enamored on saying that? Like what he's saying is saying, okay, I can take the information, let me run with it, and go from there. But he want to talk about, come on, man.
Free African Americans built this building at nighttime by torchlight. And check it out. In the 1830s to the 1860s, this building was also an underground railroad track, right? So in 1992.
So not only that you got 14, 15 feet arc, what you would call Masonic, the people like to call it Moorish, Masonic arcs right there at the door, charcoal black, with bricks lined up in order, precise, everything. They was doing that with a torchlight. And what tools, brother? What tools? That is massive. Now I'm gonna let him finish, and then we're gonna go pull a picture of this historic Orchard Street Church in Baltimore.
When they were doing some archaeological excavation.
And you had an underground railroad. Not an underground railroad like the slave shit, an actual railroad.
Since they found tunnels underneath the building, which is pretty dope.
Tunnels underneath the building, which is pretty dope, with a torchlight.
But this is the Orchard Street Church here on Orchard Street in Baltimore City. Check it out.
Look at that. With a torchlight. Come on, man. Make it make sense, man. With a torchlight. With a straight torchlight. They did that. With a torchlight. Precision. Precision. With precision. All right, Chief I Am. Hold on a sec, though. Let's look up the Old Orchard Street Church in Baltimore. Let's get a full look at that thing. There it is. You making that with a torchlight? How many torchlights you got to have to get that thing fixed and build an underground situation and all that? All right. Yeah. We don't believe you. We don't believe you. All right. Let's go over here. Now, you know, there's people that just get kind of just outside their body and they want to say certain things that don't matter. But you're actually looking at somebody that's getting something done, and then they want to flip the whole information into something that it ain't true, just in order to condemn somebody for whatever reasons that they're lacking. But at some point in time, we're going to have to say, I'm rolling with that. This is better than what we've been getting. So if we got people out here making claims, then we need to get with that.
Yeah, something kept bothering me. Get in here. Something kept bothering me. Why would so-called the United States would recognize this lady in 2026? Why would you honor this so-called Treaty of Dancing Rabbit Creek? Now it dawned on me once I did the research, and I went deep. I went deeper than deep. I went deeper than booty hairs. Now it turns out, oh my God, it turns out that the secret court case, the U.S. versus the king of blah, 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 so-called land claim of so-called Baton Rouge, right? And when you start reading this land claim, that, oh my God, just read it for yourself. Because I don't want them to.
Yeah, let's read it because you're going to butcher it anyway. Good information, though. So this is U.S. versus King, Maison Rouge, land claim. The U.S. Supreme Court, this Maison Rouge land claim, I think, also falls within the Ouachita Nation. All right, so the U.S. Supreme Court case, United States versus King, addresses the validity of a land grant to the Marquis de Maison Rouge, which was based on a certificate of survey deemed fraudulent and antedated. The court ruled that without an authentic survey to establish clear land boundaries, the grant could not confer private property rights. Interesting. And additionally, it was determined that an imperfect title from Spain could not be upheld against a claim from the United States.
Slow down this video. Just read it for yourself. And I got all the pages, all 17 pages, right? And when you read, and I'm just giving you a little synopsis if you take a screenshot. So basically, Spain and United States was fighting against each other, saying that they own New Orleans. But actually, they both lost. And this is a synopsis. And you seeing this right here, and I'm not lying, because you don't know nothing about this court case. And it turns out that this treaty that they signed, that they was banking, they don't know who she are. They were like, oh, what the shit don't know who she are. They don't know who they are. Oh, whatever. The Queen of England got it. Spain got this treaty. Everybody got this. Everybody got it. The United States. Oh, they don't know who she are. And she came back and said, I know who I am. What are you going to do? So they lost. So they honored her and say, yeah, you know what? You're right. Right? You're right. It's a ceremony when they honored her. They say, yeah, you're right. But it's half of North America that she owned. She owned not just New Orleans, half of North America. Now, Napoleon got something to do with this, right? Bonaparte, whatever, right? When he fought Egypt, but did he fight Egypt at the same time you fought New Orleans? Or when you tried to make the Louisiana Purchase, that's what this is about. She came back and hit him. Boom, 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 boom. Louisiana Purchase, you don't own none of this. But it's our more females of mother indigenous peoples that knocked America down. This is why they keep calling us African American. Is it starting to make sense? But I'm going to post all.
Okay, so we got an issue here. Because that Maison Rouge, that was supposed to be a part of the Washita. And Verdiachi Turner. So, hey, I'm gonna leave that alone. Hey, Chief I Am, don't be rushing me, man. Hey, we cruising right now. Once I get done with this, I'm gonna drop it in the bag, and then we can get it up and make it happen. But we got to have this table being set so we can eat. Be patient, brother.
California, because California is trying. Oh, I just saw an Asian man saying that the Asians are going to sue California because California is trying to come up with a reparations plan to provide reparations and housing for foundational Black Americans. This can't be real. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. It's not enough that these Asians.
Wait a minute, what'd she say? I'm over here looking at my phone, see anybody saying anything. This came from None of Your Business. So I'm looking at it for the first time.
Be real. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. This plan to provide reparations and housing for foundational Black California, because California is trying to come up with a reparations plan to provide reparations and housing for foundational Black Americans. This can't be real. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. It's not enough. Oh, I just saw an Asian.
Let's start over.
Man saying that the Asians are going to sue California because California is trying to come up with a reparations plan to provide reparations and housing for foundational Black Americans. This can't be real. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. It's not enough that these Asians came over here and profited off of our tax dollars.
I think that's enough. So I think she's just going to go into whatever she's going to go into. But I'll play a little bit more. You know, they talk about our tax dollars and all that type of stuff. You know, then you put yourself right back in jurisdiction. But did she say Asians are suing the California for giving reparations to FBA? I don't know if it's FBA. I think she's want to say FBA. See, this is where it gets frustrating with me because you're not saying exactly what the document is saying. Most likely they're saying Black people, African Americans, right? They are suing. If that's true, interesting. We got to find it. Somebody find that for me. Isn't it? If you in there, yeah, see if you can find that. Let's give her a couple more seconds.
Got immigrant benefits off of our tax dollars. Set up nail salons, beauty supply stores, and restaurants in our neighborhoods, which we supported for years and years before they came out the bag on us and started fighting affirmative action. Then they said they needed a hate protection bill. because we were being mean to them. You come over here, you buy up land. Y'all got the cheap merchandise market on lock. You still ain't got enough money, huh? All your little prostitution rings that you got running in the United States of America, y'all still ain't got enough money. You want to make sure that Black people stay on the bottom where they are by keeping us down. I'm just going to be a nappy-headed, gray-headed. I don't want no fingernails. I don't want no hair. I wish as the fuck that I would go to a goddamn restaurant. What is wrong with y'all? Now I see why Caucasian has the word Asian in it, because y'all the same greasy, grimy, shifty, funky, low-down ass motherfuckers. But yeah.
Damn. Well, Lisa, shit. Glad I gave her a few more seconds. Heard that, sis. Hey, this is a good word right here.
The only right that you should have after breaking into this country is the right to remain silent.
When I first announced my run for Congress, I had this random white woman, liberal, walk up to me and ask, well, what about you isn't Democrat? To which I responded, well, besides my skin color, what about me is Democrat? And it was at that very moment that she realized that God gave her enough common sense to ask me about my values. Now, don't get me wrong, I was raised to vote Democrat down the ballot. So when I first started, I would say things like, I'm a Republican, but I'm not a conservative. But now I know all too well I am a full-fledged, hardcore conservative, and I'm proud of it. I mean, my favorite saying is I was born Black, not Democrat. But in all seriousness, whenever I began to think for myself politically, the choice was easy. I mean, why would I want to belong to a party whose mission is to infringe on the Second Amendment as if a criminal would ever participate in something like a mandatory buyback? Why would I want to belong to and endorse a godless party? Because there is no such thing, and I mean no such thing as a trans child. We have confused children and sick enabling adults. Why would I want to belong to a party that takes pride in shedding innocent blood? Number one, as if that's not what God hates. Number two, as if there's not a Black market for baby organs. And number three, as if abortion clinics didn't start in the hood. Because if you think Trump is bad, you should research exactly who Margaret Sanger was. But speaking of the Black community, why would I want to belong to a party who's responsible for the foundation of the Triple K? But what never changed, what I noticed is Democrats' love for immigration, how they have always prioritized that over the Black community. I mean, imagine every single Democrat leader helping you joke about what a Black job is in 2024, exposing your ignorance on 1924 and how imperative the Immigration Act of that year was, how it was all reversed in 1965 with the Hart-Celler Act, how Congress refuses the advice of the Rockefeller Commission and the Hesburgh Commission, and how to this day they refuse to adopt the Barbara Jordan Blueprint, validating every single thing that Dr. Claude Anderson spoke of generally, but specifically what Mrs. King spoke of in 1991. What I'm saying is, outside with Malcolm X, when he said that the liberals were the worst thing that could ever happen to the Western Hemisphere, but y'all ignore that, just like how y'all ignore LBJ saying, and I quote, I'm going to have Negroes voting Democrat for the next 200 years, and by God, 60 years later, I see no sign of recourse, but rest assured your vote is your voice, even if it is a whisper.
Yeah, check that out. Yeah, she does her thing, but here's what I would say. And here is what I would say about people like that, right? All right. Here's what I would say. Let's take a look at the system.
To have Mrs. King spoke of in 19.
This sister speaks very well. I'm not going to say too well, but her angle in her speech is preachy. You know, it's very charismatic. It's very Malcolm, Martin Luther King-ish, Jesse Jackson. Let me call him Jesse Jackson. Yeah, him. You know, ish. It's got the flow. It's very charismatic. You feel me? I mean, she's done her research. She's very well studied. But don't let that be where it's at, because you know everybody like a good sermon. Everybody like that feel good. You know we like that feel good, that good spit, you know that. You know we like that. But you know, at this point in time, we don't need them to check their background. You have your own people in those areas check her background. Look into what she is. You know what I mean? You know the first thing I see is them $100, $50, $150, $200 glasses she got on her face. That's what I look at. Them glasses are not cheap now. See, I measure people on what they're doing, right? On top of that, she's very comfortable in her skin and what she's doing. Give her that. She's going to be strong. But the first thing that came out of her mouth was what? I'm black. People are going to have to give some substance to that word black now. We say, okay, we have accepted it, but we accepted it at our own demise and without full what? Disclosure. So when you have the full disclosure of things, then you understand who she is. Now, I'm just saying here. I'm just saying, I'm not hating on the sister. I'm not hating on her. She's young and we need some more young people. But what I'm saying is I just want to cam up. So I ain't hiding, sister. I just want to let you know that if it was me, if I got a chance to talk to you, I'm going to ask you some specific questions. Number one, I'm going to dissect this black. But you said that I was a Republican. And then you said not a really conservative. And now you're saying you are a conservatist. If I'm saying that right. But I'm getting somewhere. All these things are considered to be parties, political ideologies that goes against another party. Are you in the middle? Are you sort of to the left, sort of to the right? And where do you stand within your party and the Republic, right, for which it stands? Because if you're talking about Republican and Democrat, you know the Republican didn't start out Republican, the Democrat didn't start out Democratic. These things change faces over time. Where are you at? You center left, center right? What do you think about the Constitution and everything? What do you think about the indigenous people? And what do you think about what black is, the history of black? Where do you come from? Where do you come from? I want to know where you come from. And then you'll get a reaction. Either she's going to get defensive or she's going to be able to react in a proper way where she can give her idea. Because if she says anything outside of, I'm an American, my people are from here, as far as I know back, I've done my genealogy. As far as I can go back, I have not traced any African slavery or anything like that. So my next question will be, are you considered to be connected to an indigenous tribe here? Or are you one of those so-called Black Europeans, Huguenots, Moorish, Sephardims that came over here after 1492? That's the last question. If you're not asking them questions, you're going to stay within the Department of Education, public school system, war against education, poverty, and all the other things that you think that you might not need to be known as important. This is how you're going to know that your politician, or which is supposed to be your representative, is not everything into politics, but really is into representation, right? Which is a part of what the Republic is supposed to be about, right? A servant. Are they going to be able to operate as servants to the people or to their community or to their district or just to the areas that they're covering? To me, she looks like somebody that is being prepped to be in a position just like these other people are. They need new faces because the old faces are played out. So they need new faces to come in and get things active. And people say, yeah, you're saying all the right things. Yeah. We talking about Malcolm X. Yeah, we need that. Yeah. All right. Those that don't understand history or learn from history is doomed to repeat it. All right, let's get to the next one. What's going on? None of your business. What's going on? Hey, man, she good people. I mean, she all right, though. I like the words. She's cool. But talking is one thing. Action is another thing.
The consequences phase. And like I said, that's going to be bad for some people and it's going to be good for some people. So when I talk about how the United States of America is declining, when I talk about how it is imploding upon itself, when I talk about how it is disintegrating and being actively dismantled, how you receive that information will depend entirely upon your relationship with the power structure. And your relationship with the power structure is going to determine whether it's good news for you or it's bad news for you. Because I'll tell you, no matter how messy it might end up being, no matter how disruptive it might get, and it will get disruptive, no matter how much instability it causes in that society, it's good news for most people. Yes, most people on the earth, and even most people in America. Because the truth of the matter is that your power structure has always been diabolical. And what's happening now is nothing but justice. Because you cannot defy moral physics, the moral physics that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala programmed into the universe, and sustain that defiance indefinitely. The outcome of the American project was inevitable from the beginning. They didn't start that project with minor flaws, with minor crimes. No, they inaugurated the American project with literally unprecedented moral atrocities. Race-based hereditary chattel slavery codified and written into their founding documents.
You heard that? Race-based codified in their doctrines. So when you go back to this young lady right here, where she was talking, it sounded good. The first thing she said, she's black. That's a race, racial group. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys be like, you too hard on people, and man, damn all that. You guys got to figure out what's strong and what's weak. It ain't nothing but the mind, conversation. If you don't have reading comprehension, then you should be sitting back, letting me translate it for you. That's be perfect. It'll work.
Indigenous genocide that cut 20 million people down to 250,000 people. That's not a project that can ever come to good, even if it
heard that? Indigenous people, 20 million to 250,000.
Wanted to come to good, and it never did want to come to good. This is the other moral atrocity. This is the other moral atrocity that is woven into the American horror story. The unholy hypocrisy. Yes, I'm saying that their hypocrisy is so severe that it crosses the threshold into sacrilege. It's blasphemous. Wallahi, it's blasphemous to officially declare and to teach and to defend your founding savagery and all of your subsequent continuous unending crimes as acts of goodness, as acts of rationality, as acts that are performed for the sake of freedom and liberty and so forth and virtue and whatnot.
Come on, man. You heard what he just, come on. Let me play this for you guys. I wish I could slow it down. Let's go back.
The other moral atrocity that is woven into the American horror story. The unholy hypocrisy. Yes, I'm saying that their hypocrisy is so severe that it crosses the threshold into sacrilege. It's blasphemous. Wallahi, it's blasphemous to officially declare and to teach and to defend your founding savagery.
Never thought about it like that, have you? Never thought about it like that. And then a lot of people are arguing. That's why I say, this is a young lady. Like, she really needs to think about getting in that arena. Everybody come in wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. Yeah. Them wide eyes start cutting. That bushy tail turns into a yeah.
And all of your subsequent continuous unending crimes as acts of goodness.
And that's the main thing, you know, you need to kind of like just grab that everything they do every day and they repeat it over and over and over and over again. That's why the one thing I did was no weapon formed, right? No weapon formed. That these people, Mockingbird me, these people repeat it over and over and over and over again.
As acts of rationality, as acts that are performed for the sake of freedom and liberty and so forth, and virtue and whatnot. Well, how did you think that was going to end? How did you think that was going to end? Where did you think that was heading? Wallahi, I tell you, any Muslim who had read the Quran could have told you that your project was doomed from the outstart. You never did anything in your history but purchase the consequences that you are facing today. And worse is forthcoming.
Yeah. I'm going to pass that one up. All right, we're going, Emma. Hold on. Boom, boom. All right. Hold on. Yeah, we can, let me see that one. I need that one. So I'm going to go here. We're going to listen to my homegirl, Jessica, talk crazy to these people.
While I was sitting there just now, came to my phone about a meeting tonight at 6:30 where they're going to be speaking about TIP funds. And they're going to be talking about why it is that they should end. Why is it they should end? Now, Ms. Boatwright, if you recall, we was at Alderman Anthony Bill's birthday party. Okay, your clicking is distracting. Can you stop? Oh, you can't stop?
It's
all right.
nervous.
Don't stop. No, don't stop. Don't stop. Keep clicking. I want you to keep clicking. Get that on film. That she keep clicking while I'm talking. And I asked her to stop. This is why she's going to get y'all lawsuits. You understand that? Because there are Black people who their claim to fame is to show how they not like other Black people. They don't she's one of them. So she's sitting there clicking while I'm talking. See that? Don't have enough sense to respect herself. Now that night when she came, when we were at that Anthony Bill's birthday party, she approached me and asked me. She said, "Excuse me, I see you in meetings and I think me and you may have gotten off on the wrong foot. How can I make things better with us?" And I told her, be about us. Be about us. Now she can nod her head all day like it didn't happen, but she know doggone well that it did. But if in case she wants to keep saying that it doesn't, just like that lady right there with the glasses that spoke earlier today. Because see, one thing that Blakemore said is true. We're seeing the same faces. We're seeing the same faces in these meetings. It's the same. She got a nervous condition. I'm gonna come back when you can control her. And maybe you can't. And maybe you can't. But I bet you a discrimination charge against her that all y'all caught up in, she'll learn. She'll learn. She gonna learn. that people will allow you to disrespect black people all day. But when your disrespect gets white people in trouble, like this charge is gonna get all y'all in trouble, all of a sudden she ain't even gonna want that pen no more. All of a sudden she's gonna be allergic to pens. Watch, look at her. Look at her. Get her on video. Put that online so that everybody.
She said she ain't gonna want that pen no more. Yeah. But see, but like I said, you look at her right there. I mean, just like if you saw a man see her on the street, that's a sister right there. You'd be like, oh yeah, she fine. Look at her. Look at she got her lips all puckered and all that. She fine and everything. She didn't gave everybody a little something. They didn't tap that, and she knows that she this and that. But they like people like that you know, to put in those positions because she don't know nothing. This is why I'm saying, and I'm going back to this young lady right here. I'm just going back to her. You know, if you want to protect these youngsters getting out here in that field, people don't understand about politics. Politics is a dirty sport.
That just can't be true. Let's look at the facts. AOC just tries to say that black people are the builders and the architects of the Democratic Party.
And how Black Americans really created democracy in this country. Right. That's exactly right. How they literally made something from nothing.
That just can't be true. Let's look at the facts. When you look at when the Democratic Party had their first black representative, that was not until 1923. When did the Republican Party have their first black representative? 1870.
You know, if you believe that, I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person in the world doesn't die.
So you mean to tell me that the Democratic Party, which was founded and established before the Republican Party, they just couldn't figure out how to put one of the architects or the founders of the party into leadership? Did black people not want to be in a representative role in the Democratic Party since they built it according to AOC? I find that very interesting. How did the Republican Party beat you by like 50 something years? Plus, to having a black representative if we built the Democratic Party. Oh, that's because we didn't. The Republican Party was founded to literally free black Americans from slavery. That is why it was founded, because the Democrats just couldn't.
You see what I'm saying? She said, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, said that black people created the Democratic Party, and created democracy. Hold on, wait a minute.
AOC just tried to say that black people are the builders and the architects of the Democratic Party.
And how Black Americans really created democracy in this country.
See, this is where you get people on camera that don't need to be commenting on these things. AOC said, are the architects of democracy.
Architects of the Democratic Party.
And how Black Americans really created democracy in this country. That's exactly right. How they literally made something from nothing.
Okay, so she went to the Democratic Party and she didn't say that. Democracy has nothing to do with Democratic Party. That's a party. That's an ideology. Democracy is something totally different. I showed definition of that. I'm just showing the information people are saying. You could have did something way better than this. Could have did something way better than this. And I'm going to scroll forward. Let me see if Ocasio-Cortez. Nope, this is all her talking. We've heard enough. So if she said Black Americans, she didn't say African Americans, she said Black Americans started democracy. See, and this is where I have the issue, right? Here's my issue. My issue is that you have a lot of these people talking, oh yeah, I forgot, I got to get this guy up here. And here we go with this guy right here. Watch this. You got Cortez saying Black Americans created democracy. And then watch this guy.
Big headlines this week. A recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling placed new limits on the Voting Rights Act, as you know, which has prompted states across the South to start redrawing their maps. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito wrote in the majority opinion, I'm going to read some of what he said and get your reaction, quote, allowing race to play any part in government decision-making represents a departure from the constitutional rule that applies in almost every other context. Do you think race should be used as a factor to draw congressional lines?
So first of all, this court is profoundly hypocritical. They said you can use race in immigration stops. So this is not about race. This is about stripping political power from millions of people. And obviously this decision would result, and they knew this, in stripping political power and representation from African Americans.
Here we go. Bam. Let's go to this other one. Where you at? Bam. Where we at? Bam. There we go. See, people are not comprehending what they're reading or listening to. On top of that, or they're sitting there telling stories so people can think that this Supreme Court ruling stopped something. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, did it stop anything? Did it stop anything? Did it stop anything? That's where you got to ask yourself the question. They always want us to be thinking about what could happen, what might happen, instead of what is going on. What's going on is that if AOC is correct in saying that Black Americans started and created democracy, not started, created democracy, created democracy. And then the guy said earlier on something I did last week where he said that our democracy, we created democracy in 1965 with this voters' right bill. That created their democracy. Now, the other guy said that these people are possibly fighting for all this stuff for the democracy they created to try to keep their own people enslaved and in poverty positions, not to be able to rise and get to a self-sustaining position, but always relying on them or relying on something in order to be prosperous. Now, last time I checked, we really never had problems, but with certain entities. Now, we wasn't never worried about these Black politicians. These people are making themselves out to be out front right now. They're the most out front people at this point in time. For what? Now you got our attention. Before, y'all was kind of quiet. You did what you did. You stayed quiet. You helped your communities. You did what you did. You got elected back in office. Now, all of a sudden, you out here and you got high off the hog. And now chickens coming home to roost. You guys got an issue. Because now your own people in your community don't even trust you anymore. Right? Prime example.
To see who Miss Vote Right is and how she just sit here and disrespect us like this. Put her online. Make her famous. We're going to make you famous, girl.
You dig? Well, she got the clicks over there. But anyway, let me put the link in the chat. We ain't going long. We're going to put the link in the chat. I'm trying to be done by 4:30. Trying. There's a link. I'm going to pin it at the top. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and remove this. Boom. Let me put this little media thing on. Let's play a little music. Let's play a little music. You got 5 minutes if you're coming up here. After 5 minutes, I'm gonna stay on. I'm gonna go back to what I'm doing. Then ain't nobody getting up here. All right? Because I don't want to have this long drawn out thing all the time. You know, I want to make sure that everything is precise over here. We get the information in. We have a good bill like we did yesterday. And then we just call it a day and move on to the next day. All right? With all respect. All right. All right. What's going on, Chief? I am American Business. What's going on? Y'all Get it started. What y'all want to put on the table?
Peace to the righteous Hebrews. Peace.
Peace.
Well, I have a little small issue on what you said earlier.
Get him, sis. Get him, sis.
Okay. All right. So earlier you were just saying like these black politicians are outside right now, but before they were really quiet helping their communities. Do you really stand behind that they were helping their communities?
To an extent. I wouldn't say they was doing anything super spectacular. I mean, but the ones that was in the communities and stuff like that, I mean, a lot of people was able to communicate with them and they showed them where the money was at. I mean, but we're talking 30 years ago. We're talking about 30 years ago, 25.
Okay. You're talking about a while ago. You're
Yeah,
not talking about
25.
now. Okay.
Yeah, after 2000, after that, after them Twin Towers, shit changed.
Right.
Lot changed, and you know, like the brother Alabama would say, get the, you know what I'm saying? But I would like to say it like this. Their objective every time is, what are they going to do about us? How can we keep them in a position where they stay stifled and we do not have to worry about paying these people? It's always been that way. And they finally started getting people up in there over time that they baited into a place where they had dirt on their head and they had to turn the other way. I mean, for the most part, Maxine Waters wasn't like that. She ain't like what she was, like she is today. She wasn't like, over the last 10, 12, 15 years, she wasn't like that.
I've actually went to a Democratic Party convention and I met Maxine Waters, and just on GP she gave me her card and was like, if you ever want to intern, blah blah blah. But I'm in Northern California, she's in Southern California, so she was very kind. So personally, I have nothing bad to say, but I also saw where the people in her community were like, they were distressed because people who had just come here were getting Section 8. And they were complaining, well, we've been on a list for like 10, 15 years and can't get no Section 8. How is it that these people just walk up and get Section 8? So I haven't seen issues like that be resolved. So even though she's a very nice lady, what has she done for her community?
I've taken pictures with Maxine.
She's a very nice lady. Yeah.
I mean, she cool. She come from the neighborhood. But my thing was with this is you pinpointed right there. What was the things that people wasn't getting? They wasn't getting health care. They wasn't getting mental health care for some of these people. When they was getting out, people that was getting out, they wouldn't get directed in the right place so they could get work. Section 8, people wouldn't be able to get Section 8 fair housing. Really, it ain't just about Section 8, it's fair housing. And then, when you get to that point, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's like you have pretty much no choice. And then certain people, college ain't for them. My son tried college. He said, that ain't for me, Dad. I want to go to work. Well, get it how you get it. I'm not worried about that. School is not for everybody. So how else is somebody going to be able to do these things? But what about the apprenticeship programs they got out here, American Business in California? You know what I'm saying? With nonprofits, they got grant funding for nonprofits for apprenticeship programs. And they got it for people that got their own businesses. I mean, if you don't have to go to school. Back in the day, the resume used to say, or not the resume, but the job description used to say 2 to 4 years of college or experience in this field. They took that out.
Hey, Aton, I don't think you're recording, bro. I tried to share it. I tried to simulcast.
What do you mean? Hold on. How do I do that?
It should be in the bottom right here in the corner. Hit that record button. It should be saying recording or.
Nope. Oh, okay. At the bottom right. Yep. Recording. Record. Please ask all guests to stay in the studio until their recordings are done uploading. I don't know. It said, please ask all guests to stay in the studio to upload local recordings.
So
hold on. Let me go to my Yeesh. Go ahead. Just talk. Let me go.
Well,
go
no,
ahead.
what I was gonna say is, I think language is specific, just like law is specific, and the sister she led with that she was very nice to her, and shout out Yafa Bay, man, the etymology of the planet. It means foolish or easily taken advantage of. The fact that Maxine Walker been sitting in that spot plus 30 years, and her community is deteriorating around her. Like you just said, Aton, they got these foreigners coming in, taking advantage of programs that are supposed to be allocated to the original people of the land, but are given to foreigners. Proves that she's foolish, proves that she's easily taken advantage of, and then she gives off that same old sentiment. So I'm happy, American Isness, that you didn't take her up on her offer. Because you might not even be American Isness right now. Just keep it in the whole 100.
Oh no, I'm in Northern California. This all happened in, Northern California. So she's far, but I did see her community. Her community is struggling. I saw a big thing where she couldn't even address them. She couldn't even really talk about it. And they kind of confronted her. They were like, hold up, these people are getting, this was specifically about Section 8. And they were like, we're on a list for 10, 15 years, and they were like, these people just show up and they get Section 8, They said that they can't even talk to nobody, you know what I mean? And so I haven't seen any resolution or nothing.
Right.
So,
and to second what you're saying, the fact that the United States is a welfare state, that's what it's literally described as. It's a welfare state. I don't think that any Aboriginal, American Indian should be paying any rent or any mortgages. Those programs are specifically designed for us. So the mere fact that they're giving them to other people, that's a miscarriage of justice, So I would agree with her constituents that, shit, I'm highly upset, And I know some might argue and say, well, nigga, you shouldn't be looking for a handout. What you mean? This is our land. What you mean?
Listen, you can't tell people that they can't look for a handout when we still have job discrimination, housing discrimination, affordable housing. Can you really get that place? Right? If there's some affordable little place out there, will they rent to you? There's redlining. There's, like I said, there's job discrimination, businesses. If you start your little business, could you get a loan to make it bigger? So we have like so many issues that none of these politicians are talking about, that so for any regular smuggler person to tell somebody that they're looking for a handout with all the attacks that are going on towards our people who still go on, like people could literally come here yesterday and get a business loan, they could get a home loan, they can get a car loan, they get A1 credit, they getting all lifted up in all different type of ways. Meanwhile, everybody's telling us that we don't need a handout. That's ridiculous, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't let no one make you feel shame for needing a handout.
But I don't even look at it as needing a handout. I look at it as, getting what's rightfully due, right? Because, like I said, I don't think we're supposed to be paying no rents. We're supposed to be collecting rents, interest on rents, interest on payments. And yes, has the system been completely subverted and given into the hand of the foreigner, and the foreigner now is greater than us in our own land? Absolutely, that's a fact, but it doesn't change. Um, it doesn't change what's going on, you know. But to get back to Aton, what you were talking about the sister in the chat, Aton was going a little hard, you know what I'm saying? And I get where he's coming.
My bad. My bad.
No, you ain't gotta say my bad. I'm okay with it. But what I will say is, man, you know, our people are a variety of shades, right? You got the strong copper tone, and you got the deviations of the shade. That's kind of like understanding. You know what I mean? Everybody doesn't get it all at the same time. And though she was very articulate and well spoken, and she was easy on the eyes as well. So I can understand why Aton said she's being put in place, right? Because that's strategic, right? Let's put her in the proper venue. Let's put her in the proper place so that she can be magnified. And now we got one of our people that we elevated. But yeah, man, you can't. It's a conundrum, man. It's a quagmire, you know. You're damned if you do, you damned if you don't. You know what I mean? If you want to play this game of politics, you gotta play it under the black codes. You can't. I mean, I've yet to see one politician in all of America run on the fact that the blacks or the so-called Negroes or the American Indians are American Indians, are the Aton-Yahtans. I've yet to see one. And I think there's a reason for that.
Well, you know what? People could be waking up because remember, people were using African American just a few years ago, and they dropped that real quick. So you could see the consciousness is moving, it's rising. So in a few years, I think you'll see it.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, what you think about that sister, that young sister that was up there talking? Sounded pretty good, didn't she?
She did sound very good. And I know people refer to themselves as black, so I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. But as when, you know, when I first was, you know, online a few years ago, you know, I was more on the conservative side and everybody just assumed I was voting for Democrat. I'm a Democrat lady person, right? And I had to like really say no. At that time, it wasn't in our consciousness that we're all not huge, big church lady Democrat women's. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's a stereotype with us that we all think one way and we don't.
Big hats. Big hats.
We going and I'm wearing my little mini dress to church because I'm trying to catch the pastor type stuff. No, okay.
I think the term you're looking for is that they assume that blacks are a monolith.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're not. And especially as women, we really get thrown. I think men have more freedom. They're like, okay, y'all ruined the election type of thing. That's what they say about the males. But when it comes to us females, they're like, oh, y'all voted for y'all was Kamala, sister girl magic stuff. And we weren't. So what did I like about her is that there are more voices of real sounding people that are conservative. And it's okay to say you're conservative. Like, I'm in the families, you know what I mean? And that's okay.
What do you think about the part where I said, you know, even though she talked well to everything, you know, we always look at people that talk good. You know, they always saying the right thing. Like, I mean, what you think about what I said about, you know, okay, you're gonna step out there, you know, you need to be vetted. You need to be, you know.
You listen, you are right, because when I first heard Byron Donalds, when I very, 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 very first heard him, I thought he was like, okay, you know, all right. Listen, and then guess what happened? He showed his whole butthole, right? And nobody vetted him. They were like, "Oh, he came from New York, and he changed his life, and that was his story, right?" And now we're coming to find out he's an op to us. So you are exactly right. You got to vet people.
All right, so
yeah, but see that's the caveat, right? It's that once you start playing in this political climate, this landscape, the you have to you have to put your hands in it, right? Right, and the people who control it don't have the niggas' interest at heart at all. Matter of fact, it's the direct opposite. It's
I'd rather play rugby.
Yeah, we're intentionally trying to make sure niggas never come up. That's the real game. Like, it's not rocket science. You know what I mean? That's the whole. If you get into politics, Republican or Democrat, and you rise, you got to know that what they call the tiny hats or the small hats or Edom or Amalek. You know what I mean? They're sitting right at the top. They control the whole game. Both sides. Rothschilds were notorious for funding both sides of every war. You don't think they're funding both sides of all political parties?
Right.
So that's what you're dealing with. You gotta the ring. So
All right, I gotta ask my question. I gotta ask my halftime question before y'all get going. Is this being above a 5 or below a 5? What you think?
Huh? What?
Presentation.
Of today? What you did
above
today?
5, below a 5.
I think it's above 5. It was really good. It was cohesive. If your question is right, your presentation, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good because it was cohesive. You had a theme and you went along. So.
Chief, I am.
Yeah, I would say you right there, man. I would say I'm starting to hear some of your bias, but it's not a negative bias. Your bias is because you want our people to learn and rise, which ain't a problem for me. Someone unlearned might take it as a negative, but I take it as a positive bias. So yes, I would say above 5.
That's right. Gotcha. Naughty. Hold on,
below a 5.
I'm scared what he gonna say.
All right, man. I do better.
I gotta be everybody up. Yeah, I gotta. Everybody hate Chris. Everybody hates Mati.
Did everybody hate Chief I Am? Huh? We the 3 most hated.
I gotta keep it that way. I don't want no friends. Goddamn, none.
Yeah, if you a friend of this world, then you are at enmity with God, nigga. If you a friend of this world, you at enmity with the Most High, man.
Yeah.
All right, what you got, man?
Oh, nothing. I was just uplifting you, man. Nothing, just supporting up here, Just there. Ain't got no contentions. Everything running smooth.
Why not, man? You gotta have some contention about something.
Nah.
You don't have to be contention. It can be contention in whatever that you heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm good. I
mean, but I really pay attention to these people, how they talk and how they double talk and they jump over here, but they never addressing no key issues that actually mean anything.
Hey, this is what I will say. This is what I will say, Aton. The brother, what it is. Right? You know what I'm talking about? You went into him earlier, a couple of videos.
Get in here.
Right? So that brother be dropping jewels, man. And I would say if you're gonna utilize him, instead of just giving him the elbow to the spleen, chop up his video, pull up the documents he's pulling.
I agree.
Versus, that's what all I would say. That would be.
Man, that's what I'm saying. He just can't read.
Man, I know, but that was your part. Like, when he's like, take a screenshot, stop it, and then read what it is that he's showing you.
Yeah, that thing be frustrating the hell out of me. Yeah, but you know,
Gotta
it
let
is.
him make it.
I'm a
Let
teacher,
him make
so
it in his own rodeo, you know?
yeah, I'm just a teacher, so that I'm just like that. God damn, if you're gonna be presenting, just take your time, enunciate. He be excited though. He be excited about that information.
Man, most niggas can't even spell enunciate.
They'll use one end instead of two. Ah.
All right, well, this is other one I haven't showed yet. Let me pull this one up here. I go this whole screen. Damn, let's go to whole screen. Which one is it? Boom, 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 boom.
And while you pulling it up, man, I do agree with sister though. You know what I mean? Our values are conservative. You know, we're about family. We are about the creator. We're about righting wrongs. We're not with the fuck shit. The whole LGBT game. We're not with none of that shit as a collective, I would say, right?
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's
so
a fact.
we are conservative in nature, but I don't think we are today we would be considered Republicans.
Did we all run with that Black Lives Matter shit when it came along?
Shit, a lot of us did.
I was
outside with my 223s in North Minneapolis, man.
Man, I already knew that shit.
Crackers was coming in. They were trying to tear shit up and blow shit up. Right
Yeah,
in North
but
Minneapolis.
but there was two Black Lives. There was two Black Lives Matter. One was real. One was like, no, you can't just come out here executing people like this, and we just go
There you
sit.
go.
Right. So that's one. Then you have somebody who took it and stole that idea, stole the name. I think they unalived the guy who created just that term. Right. They unalived him, and then they put these other ladies up there, and that was more of a political campaign. So there was two different things going on, and it's really sad that we people only distinguishing one or the other. Yeah. Yeah.
But isn't that what we were talking about earlier? Is that these people play both sides of the game, right? Didn't they do that down in didn't they do that down there in Oklahoma with the Muskogee? Right? They incorporated the Muskogee Creek, and then you got the actual niggas for the Muskogee Creek, right? So they play both sides all the time. This is not a new game with these people, man. You know, they incorporated Black Lives Matter, and then before they did that, they killed the actual creator of it, which is diabolical. Like, think about that. You create something that has the ability to change the landscape, and they smoke you for it, and then they incorporate it and get billions of dollars of funding. That is fucking, like, whoever, like, them people. And then they put 3 gay sisters. Like, come on, man. And then they robbed the people. Like, the sisters robbed the people. They bought mad houses and cars with the contributions to BLM. Like, shit is. Yeah, we got to stop playing these people's games, man. That's what I feel. I feel like we just got to completely check out. Abstain from everything. And I know that's hard. That's real hard. But I think that's where we gotta go with it, because they gonna play both sides every time. We create something great. Like Tariq Nasheed, he created FBA. Y'all know that, right? Tariq Nasheed, the comedian / ex-hustler and pimp enthusiast.
He created that?
He created it.
Or did he?
About 7 years ago.
Or did he capture it?
No, he created it. FBA, Foundational Black Americans. He created it.
Oh, okay.
So now...
Actually, that's not really. I just want to do a quick interlude real quick. Is that's not really his idea. That was Dr. Claude Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, that was Anderson's song.
Yeah. Who be told? Rod, what up? Go ahead, y'all.
Okay, all right. So well, I stand corrected, but
And that's who
Tariq
if I was gonna follow someone, that's who I would have followed behind that
Oh yeah,
that synopsis.
So
exactly.
I
Like
think Dr.
he had a nice little plan.
Right, he did. He
Well,
did very
Dr.
much.
Claude, I think he used the term, but Tariq Nasheed actually coined it. He coined it. Like he brought like Dr. Claude, y'all are 100% correct. I do remember him speaking on that in his old lectures. What the foundation of blacks. We was here before the Europeans got here, but Tariq Nasheed, that nigga's a fucking comedian, bro. You know who else was a comedian? You know who else was a comedian? The same nigga who gave you black. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is crazy, bro. Like, but then did they copyright it? Did they get the patents on it? Did they get the all the necessary legal documents attached to it? So if you put it on paper, one body politic is getting paid for it, right? I don't know if he's done
Tell
that.
me who is the most natural, productive leader that came out? All these leaders basically came out are plants, bro. The most natural man that I identify as a true leader that just came from the weeds and come from the dust and bushes was Malcolm X.
Shit,
Outside of
I'm gonna go
out,
early. I'm gonna go Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, man, formerly known as Jesus the Christ, man. Shit. There ain't no bigger revolutionary in the world, man. You know what I mean? That nigga. All these goddamn religions have spawned off of the shit that he spoke of. You know what I mean? So, but Malcolm X was a big nigga, though. He was a big nigga in the game. For sure. He was a big nigga in the game.
when you say that, that takes me to my mindset on that's an that's an implant too, bro. As far as the perception of that individual, because even in his birth is like a misconception, bro. Like the fuck you telling me a man born from a woman without? It's just too much magic shit going on, and it's like they placing this idol in front of us to follow in they footprint, bro.
Yeah, that's the Jesus part. That's the Rothschild playing both sides of the game. Incorporate when you see the name Jesus in the Bible, it's in all capital letters. It's a motherfucking strong man, my nigga. Like, come on, bro. It's in the scriptures. They put it there. They placed it there. But if you don't have eyes to see and ears to hear, you won't even be able to see it. You won't. When most niggas go across all capital names in any documents, they never assume that this is a corporate fiction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Jesus, that's a fiction, nigga. That's not. I say Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. That's what I said. I didn't say Jesus the Christ. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking of Paleo Hebrew right now, baby. So yeah, you goddamn right. They gonna incorporate the nigga that put Rome on fire, that led to the fall of Rome 200 years later. Wow. Yeah, they gonna incorporate that name and turn it into a religion. Now you got all these motherfuckers calling themselves Christians, and Christian means imbecile. You know what I mean? A stupid motherfucker that follows Rome. Like, come on, man. You got a whole segment of our people who are calling themselves this shit. The word Christian only appears in the entire Bible one time. Like, nigga, what? So yeah, hell yeah. You right. Navi, they created, but that's what they do well, man. Like I said, I go with the foregoing example, the Muskogee Creek. If y'all remember, the Native Americans sued for tribal lands that were connected to the Muskogee Creek former territories, and they won. And niggas was in an uproar. And I was trying to tell niggas, listen, that is some corporate shit right there. They incorporate everything that we do, man. That's what they do. That's the game. Turn that shit to a corporation. These niggas ain't gonna file the paperwork correctly. Cause niggas are too honorable. We're not gonna incorporate some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like we not gonna turn. Like, you gotta think about it.
Yeah, you put it on paper, that shit can get snatched.
Yeah, if you don't put it on paper, exactly, 100%. But that's the game they've been playing. You know, think about the Senegal was incorporated, the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Chickasaw. They were all incorporated. They're incorporated tribes now.
Is your de facto, right? Now, let's do this. Do you guys want to listen to some of Dr. Cloud back in the day?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Dr. Cloud I like to listen to. I like this guy. This guy I'm cool with. This other guy, he just tired now. He older cat, he tired. And I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him at all.
We have been very systematically locked into the lowest levels of a no-win monopoly game. And if you play Monopoly, you know how the game works. And what has happened now is that black folk now are suffering from an economic disparity in the country. White society controls almost 100% of all the wealth, the power, the income, the businesses, the resources, the privileges, and all levels of government. That makes it almost humanly impossible for black folk to sufficiently manage their own lives and their families. And you cannot do it without those resources and those tools. We are in trouble. We have been very systematically locked into the lowest levels of a no-win monopoly game.
He said, we are in trouble. He wished, this is how I like John Cloud. He wasn't cut, he put nothing, cut nothing. He coming straight at you. We are in trouble.
Yeah, man, that brother had the spirit on him, for sure.
For sure.
He had him and Dr. Cress Wesling, Dr. Frances Cress Wesling, she had, man, they had the spirit on them, man. Like, the way that they spoke, the fire, you know, they wasn't doing that shit for no monetary gain. You know what I mean? Niggas now is talking for monetary gain. Niggas is trying to motherfucking monetize they Facebooks, they Instagrams, they TikToks, they YouTubes. These niggas didn't give a fuck about that shit. That's why, and you said he tired now. I don't think he tired. He's just like, nigga, check my resume. I've been talking about this shit for 35 years, 45 years. Shit, he got shit before 1995, Dr. Claude, don't he?
Oh yeah, way before. Yeah, this guy, he worked within he understood the whole thing. I mean, he worked in the government. He was in Florida. He worked within that. He saw he knew how the whole thing structured. That, I mean, and he broke that down, man. I got an old DVD still of him when he came to Los Angeles to the KRST, they call it KRST, Courage Unity Center, right there on Western and 78th Place. Came up in there and just spit. Everybody was stuck. Like, whoa, because everybody talking about, but nobody was ever talking about money and business. He was talking straight money.
So look, this is the thing though. And this is the thing though, A-Time, and I don't mean to keep cutting you. My bad, forgive me. But I think like it's like two different types of niggas, or what I would say Israelites, right? One is one that works in the system and they see the bullshit.
You know that to be true.
And then they're like, well, there's nothing I can do, so I'm just gonna set myself up to win. And then there's the ones that go into the system and the work and they see it and they're like, oh, hell no. This is some bullshit. I gotta tell every nigga on the planet about this shit, right? So I think that's how you, cause we all had to play this corporate game at some point in our lives. You know what I mean? We all had to play it.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, it's those ones that say, well, you know what? There's nothing I can do. I'm just gonna set myself up and my family to win. And he just said, nigga, we are in a position where you can't win. This is a rigged monopoly game. Nigga, what?
That's what I'm saying. He's talking right from the inside. He was in there, saw how it was all functioning. He came out and started telling. He was like, hey, man, we in trouble. Hold on.
You know how the game works. And what has happened now is that black folk now have a suffering. You know how the game works. And what has happened now is that black folk now have a suffering monopoly game. And if you play Monopoly, you know how the game works. And what has happened now is that black folk now are suffering from an economic disparity in the country. White society controls almost 100% of all the wealth, the power, the income, the businesses, the resources, the privileges, and all levels of government. That makes it almost humanly impossible for black folk to sufficiently manage their own lives and their families.
Now, this is 1995. Hold your comments. This is 1995. 30 years prior is what? 1965. This whole voters' rights shit. Prior to 1965, 15 years prior to that, is 1950. It was functioning. Big so-called black communities doing big things. Everything working. Everything straight. 20 years prior to that, that's 1930. Really, really popping. 20 years prior to that, you see what I'm saying?
Now, this is what we do. Let's take them back 30 more
we
years.
Say, hold your comment, and we say it right now, this is him talking in 1995. This is what I'm talking about in regards to this. Glad y'all made me pull up Glad. Because when you look at the timeline, the 1965 Voters' Rights Act, and all these issues that are going on right now today, where these same people were sitting up here crying. When I say they up here crying, they up here crying. But he's saying in 1995, we're in a big issue right now. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is go back 30 more years and pull up Steve Coakley.
Right.
And listen to what he's talking about. Because Dr. Claude is mimicking exactly what he's saying word for word. He's telling you that these motherfucking fake Jews run the goddamn world.
Well, but that's the thing. He's a student of that. See, Claude is a student of that, and somebody that rock with these people. See, this is where a lot of them people back in the day, they did things on their lonely. They really didn't click up like that because they knew, based on the experience of what happened in the 60s and 50s and the 40s, they was knocking everybody down.
Knocking them down.
They was knocking them down. You know, they say even today, like when you with the crime bill, one of the things in the crime bill said 3 or more in a car, pull them over.
Shit, 3 or more in a group, that's a gang.
That's a gang. Pull them over.
And you cannot do it without those resources and those tools. We are in trouble. We have been very systematically locked into the lowest levels of a no-win monopoly game. And if you play Monopoly, you know how the game works. And what has happened now is that black folk now are suffering from an economic disparity in the country. White society controls almost 100% of all the wealth, the power, the income, the businesses, the resources, the privileges, and all levels of government. That makes it almost humanly impossible for black folk to sufficiently manage their own lives and their families. And you cannot do it without those resources and those tools. We are in trouble. We have.
Here's the next one.
Okay, before you go to the next one, now he did work in government, and he's probably one of the only. He wasn't a politician in that sense, but you know what I mean. The one in the higher offices that sounded the alarm. Now these people who's crying right now about this redistricting, getting all the old people tripped out. Where were they? Did they sound any alarms? Did they say, hey, we in trouble, the black unemployment rate, we need to figure out how to, have you heard them talk about the issues of the community like Dr. Claude Anderson?
Hell no. That's a unanimous hell no. I'm speaking for everybody right now. They ain't doing shit. They only talking this redistricting shit because they trying to get niggas to believe back in the system that is falling.
Yeah,
Soon you get niggas arguing about redistricting now, you got niggas wanting to participate in a failed system. Like, let this motherfucker fall, man. Like, let this bitch, yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, sis. My bad, I'll do that.
Well, the only thing that I was just saying is that they got people feeling like you lost your right to vote. It was kind of like they just up here just tripping because they lost their job. And the whole point that I was just trying to make is, what have they done for people? Where are the speeches? Can I go listen to Jasmine Crockett sit down and be like, hey, you know, we need to bring it up a little bit, this, that, and the other? No, I can't get that from her, Maxine Waters, Al Green. None of these people are talking like this man that you just had.
All right, so check this out. Hey, truth be told, I got your comment, the last comment you got up here. Too many council meetings, not enough torting. Now, we all know what a tort is up here. What do you mean by that? You wanna come up here and share with us with that, or just kind of break it down a little bit? You got some good stuff in the comment. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to you.
Y'all not fighting, or we. Ain't nobody fighting. Ain't nobody getting out there in them courts and trying to set any record straight.
Right. All right, let's get back to it. All right, where was I at? There we go. Hold on, let me mute myself.
Aton, I know all about torts. I know all about motherfucking torts. And a tort claim is a pre-claim to a motherfucking lawsuit. That's all the motherfucking tort is. You giving them notice that you about to sue their ass. You can do this against a municipality, an agency, a corporation. So once again, this is us playing in the game. Now, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with a tort claim, but what I am saying is you have to go through the administrative processes to even see redress on the other side.
Right, but that's a digression.
I'm not even saying it's a digression.
You get into that, that's going to be a digression.
This is going to be a whole conversation on that.
That's a whole nother.
Hold on. Let me just say this, and then we can move forward. This is what I would say. I wouldn't say it's a negative. I would just say it takes time, and you have to ask yourself, do you have the time? Because you have to contact these different entities that are, because most torts don't even go through if you file, I filed a tort against my local police department.
I figure you would get into a digression.
Okay, my bad. Okay.
Hey, truth be told, I appreciate that. I know you don't come up here. I just wanted to see if you want to come up real quick and bounce back, but no, you good. Everything you saying is right in line. Trust me.
Yeah.
Everybody you see up here, truth be told, we right there with you. We right there with you, 100%. Let's get back to this. There you go.
Economic issues. They have, and I want to disabuse you of any misconceptions. It has nothing in the world to do. Racism, slavery, and racism are economic issues.
Woo-wee. Hold on, let me mute myself. I'm going to let him go. I ain't going to even interrupt him.
They have, and I want to disabuse you of any misconceptions. It has nothing in the world to do. Racism has nothing in the world to do with getting along with people. It has nothing in the world to do with bias, bigotry, hatred. Racism has nothing in the world to do with slavery, and racism are economic issues. They have, and I want to disabuse you of any misconceptions. It has nothing in the world to do. Racism has nothing in the world to do with getting along with people. It has nothing in the world to do with bias, bigotry, hatred, or discrimination, or prejudice. Those things have nothing to do with racism. Racism is a competitive relationship between groups of people that are competing to own and control resources and wealth and power. And once they acquire a significant amount of it, they then use it against another group to enslave them, to discriminate, to shut them out, and tell them who they can marry, whether or not they can go to school, or to maldistribute the educational funds for the schooling of another child. That's what racism is. It is a competitive relationship and is economic based. It started out as economics in the 1500s, and by the 1700s, it switched over and became a religious issue. It became a religious issue in the 1700s as the evangelical movement moved across America. And they wanted some justification for what they were doing to black folk. Slavery and racism are economic issues. They have, and I want to disabuse you of any misconceptions. It has nothing in the world to do. Racism has nothing in the world to do with getting along with people. It has nothing in the world to do with bias, bigotry, hatred, or discrimination, or prejudice. Those things have nothing to do with racism. Racism is a competitive relationship between groups of people that are competing to own and control resources and wealth and power. And once they acquire a significant amount of it, they then use it against another group to enslave them, to discriminate, to shut them out, and tell them who they can marry, whether or not they can go to school, or to maldistribute the educational funds for the schooling of another child. That's what racism is.
Hey, Aton.
It is a competitive relationship and is economic based. It started out as economics in the 1500s, and by the 1700s, it switched over and became a religious issue. It became a religious issue in the 1700s as the evangelical movement moved across America. And they wanted some justification for what they were doing to black folk, slavery and...
So what's extremely profound about that statement, right? And if you want to dive in today, we can. If you pull up that Civil Rights Act, it only applies to public facilities, right?
Right.
Guess what facility is not listed on there? Banks. Banks are not listed within the Civil Rights Act. And that is their number one.
Right. Those places are not considered to be a part of the governmental entity that is to be in a fiduciary position. These are
right. So when he says that it's an economic issue, and the number one way that they're discriminating by race is through the banks, right? Like the sister spoke of earlier, redlining, racial. There was a couple years ago, there was a couple that had a $500,000 house, and they listed the house for that price, but they kept like all their pictures of their family. It was a so-called black couple. They kept all the pictures of their family in the house, and then the potential buyers came to look at the house, and they had an appraiser come out, and the appraiser devalued the house by $300,000, all because she knew that niggas lived there, right? And then, so what they did is they got on their thinking, they put on their thinking caps, and they said, okay, we're going to relist it and have another appraiser come out, but this time we're gonna put white folks' pictures on the walls. Cause you know when you go to a house, the actual furniture from the previous owner or the current, their pictures of their family's gonna be on the walls and shit like that. They did 10 more times, and they paid the money for these appraisers, and the house got appraised at $1 million fucking dollars. So you're talking about $700,000 of value that was taken from them just because, they had their own pictures of their own family in that bitch, and the appraiser knew that it was owned by a black family. So yes, the Civil Rights Act does protect so-called black people in public situations, but when you're dealing with these private institutions, these private banks, man, these motherfuckers, that's the reason why they didn't list the banks in there. And I read through that shit, man, I was like, this is diabolical, man. Whoever wrote this had to be a fake Jew. Had to be. So he's right. Economics, man, it's economic warfare.
Yeah, I mean, who talks like that now? That you would consider to have a voice from that perspective. Who actually talks like that? Nobody.
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 You know what I mean? So he ain't never stopped doing what he was doing. And this is where I know the black folk he say. The black folk stuff, boy, that just pissed me off. I was like, why you gotta say it like that? But I know what they're doing. You know, the old heads, they like, hey man, don't get caught up in these words. Don't get caught up in that. Don't make that a part of you. This is how we got to do in order to get the point across. If you know who you are, you don't have to worry about these words. They don't apply to you. The message is the message. What's the key things? Right? That was a lot of them, Claus and all them other brothers, you know.
Yeah, because they didn't understand.
They knew what it was. Even going back, they'll tell you back in the day, even with the Indian situation and stuff like that, they had to abbreviate their names to be able to move around, to not be pointed out and targeted as being Aboriginal. They had to maneuver a little bit. So I say at this point in time that back, I know where he's coming from because that's where he's at. But present people today, these young people that I showed with the young lady and all these other people in politics, you don't have to hide anymore. Everything is out there. You don't have to hide. You got to come out of hiding. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but that money though, if they want them donations from them high donors, which can make the movement move, then they have to toe the line. And that's what I was saying. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. If you get high enough within the stratosphere, at the top, the motherfuckers who's cutting the real checks,
right,
are these Edomites that run shit. You know what I mean? And look, and I only go back to the biblical names of the people is because that's what we're eventually going to return back to. We're eventually going to return back to the biblical names of all the peoples, the 18 nations on the planet. There's no 169 nations.
I think, and you're not going to get me on the digression just yet. But what I'm saying is that we've always been there, and we're there now more expressively. It's just now we're separating ours from theirs, where everything was all mixed up on top. You know what I'm saying? You know that picture you going to church. You know what that picture looking like of that. Right. Yeah, right, exactly. But I think at this point in time, a lot of them ain't really rolling with that. So it's going to be a slow process with this. But you're talking about people that want to get out here and talk loud and boisterous, you know, under these political talking points and still using these words in 2026. Hey, man, you better watch it. And you need to be vetting them.
I mean, shit, it's really a red flag considering all the information that's out. Like, if you still using these terms, I mean, you signaling. That's like a nigga walking around sagging his pants and wearing booty shorts. You know, you know what I mean. You signaling to the gay community that you go that way in 2026.
Right. I mean, you could have used a better example, but hold on.
Yeah, pause.
Still tend to think that partisanship is important to black folk. And but whites do not place as much importance on partisanship, political partisanship, as we do. See, when black folk did not belong to any party, and they were independent, they were enslaved. From 1618 up until 1866, blacks were slaves. They didn't belong to any party, and they got slavery out of it. From 1866.
Hold on real quick. Let me mute up real quick. Hold on.
To 1936, About 96% of all the blacks in the United States belong to the Republican Party. What they got was Jim Crowism out of it. From 1936 up to 1996, almost 97% of all the blacks in the United States belong to the Democratic Party. What they've gotten is benign neglect. So partisanship is not the issue. The issue is that black folk have never had an effective strategy for dealing with white racism in this country. That's the issue. And we have never sat down and say, how do we go about dealing with structural racism? For a number of reasons. First of all, because we still tend to think that partisanship is important to black folk. But whites do not place as much importance on partisanship, political partisanship, as we do. See, when black folk did not belong to any party, and they were independent, they were enslaved. From 1618 up until 1866, blacks were slaves. They didn't belong to any party, and they got slavery out of it. From 1866 to 1936, about 96% of all the blacks in the United States belong to the Republican Party. What they got was Jim Crowism out of it. From 1936 up to 1996, almost 97% of all the blacks in the United States belong to the Democratic Party. What they've gotten is benign neglect. So partisanship is not the issue. The issue is that black folk have never had an effective strategy for dealing with white racism in this country. That's the issue. And we have never sat down and say, how do we go about dealing with structural racism? For a number of reasons. First of all,
you see the contradictions in there? Contradiction.
Yeah, because man, he jumped from fucking 16, 18 to motherfucking niggas live in time machines, bro. That shit is crazy. I mean, shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm not disrespecting, the teacher, but that's wild, man. Like,
I mean, that part is a white supremacist talking point. That's Darwinism. That's a lot of different ideologies that he has been,
subject to.
Yeah, or he's adopted. I want to say
indoctrinated under.
I'm gonna use the word adopted, for whatever reason. But see, this is what I'm saying. I'm showing you the difference in Claude over time. You see what I'm saying? Them first two, that was Claude. Up until this point, he's in the doctrine where he said enslave. So without clarifying enslave is a form of you've lost in a war, in a battle, and now you are forced into servitude. That's forced. Enslaved. He used the word enslaved. You got to catch it. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
everything he's saying is correct, but it's just the delivery that's white supremacist based. You know what I mean?
But what kills me is that when motherfuckers go back to that 16, 18, or
man, can you express yourself without this damn cussing?
Oh, my bad.
Come on, man.
Okay, damn.
Every other word is motherfucker. Come on, man. See if you can get it out, man. Let's spit. I ain't cuss too much. Nobody really cursing up here. I know. I get it. Wrong channel, brother. Go ahead.
When you go back to the 16, 19, the error is in that you're stating that the colonies was established by so-called pale people. That's your first wrong, right? Because you're starting from there, but you're not coming with accurate history of the peoples who created the colonies. So then you're starting slavery from that point, in which the people that were in the colonies were so-called brothers and sisters. So they, you know what I mean? They didn't come trying to enslave the indigenous of this land or the aboriginals.
Exactly.
So and then you move forward from there, and you're coming with that same narrative. That's the flaw that I see in it. But I think he knows these things because he's already admitted on the public record that he's I think he said he was Choctaw. So that whole African that is him as well, but
yes, sir. See how you snapped that off? That thing was clicking. That's what I'm talking about right there. All right, let's get to the last one.
Blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015? 2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there's going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites can be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. 2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to a minority. We've been number 2 in the society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are because this country operates. You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015? 2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there's going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research that's coming to us, that the next generation of whites can be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. 2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society.
Hey,
Boy,
naughty,
was he right?
naughty is this? Chief, that's John Claude the Prophet. We got to call him Prophet John Claude.
That's right.
Claude Anderson. I put John in front of it, but we call him John Claude Anderson.
The Prophet Anderson.
Man, did he call it?
He called it.
Jeez.
And then we still sit up here protesting, sad, like you don't understand what you're doing. And then the thing is that, and a lot of these, I think the older people are complacent. They're like, oh, they're not really seeing the writing on the wall, but because they're not caring about their children and their children's children. And if we could be, as a people, to care about passing down things to our children, to leaving an inheritance. And I'm not talking about inheritance as just like, your house. I'm just talking about your country. And none of our older generation is thinking about leaving their country to their kids. And this mofo has been gutted out. Gutted. And Anderson, when was this? When did he say that?
I don't know. Let me check.
Obviously, it was pre-2015. It was at least 10 years ago.
Had to be at least. It had to be before 2000. But you see his analytics, right? That's what he did in Florida. When he was, like you said, when he was in government, he that's what he did. Economics and the whole what they call it, civil. I think he was a civil engineer or some shit like that. I think he was a civil engineer.
Well, that's the sometimes we be hearing people and they discourage young people from going into colleges and stuff because they're scared they're going to be the boule, and they act like everybody's going to be the boule. And that's not true, because he's an example of that. And you do need these educated young people. And so while we're discouraging, not everybody's college material, I understand that. But this is why we shouldn't be discouraging people, because like you said, he analyzed it and he broke it down a long time ago. And nobody heard him or listened. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. But his analytics, and you hear how he was saying, he said, like, they're projecting. You know what I'm saying? He said through his, man, hold on, man. Let me stop. Let me let this man talk. Let's go back to the beginning.
You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015? 2015 because...
2015, 2012, what was that? Obama's second term, 2008 to 2012. Then 2012, 2013 to 2016, 17. So I guess they was able to exercise all that stuff and put a stamp on it. But yeah,
Well,
let's keep going.
well, the thing about it is like during this time pre-2015, just living in California, you could see the writing on the wall. Like if the people were just it wasn't that you were living in the South type atmosphere that we were living in here. Was everybody, all these people was coming over here and felt like they had a right to abuse the so-called Negro. You know what I mean? So he was just saying something, and then if you ever talked to somebody during those days, 2016, and you talked about, like these Hispanics, they're doing a little too much. A lot of people will ignore that. They'll be like, oh, they are cousins. And they allowed all of this. So, I got to give it to them because a lot of people wasn't paying attention.
Right.
You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015? 2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there's going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all.
He said, we anticipate. When you say anticipate, that means you know it to be true based on what you're seeing today. At that time, he's getting it going, and the projections. So he is an engineer. So I don't know if he's a civil engineer or something, but he's an engineer, and and civil engineers deal with this type of stuff. You know what I mean? This guy is projecting. He said we're anticipating. I can't think of the word though. What do they call that when they anticipate? It's scientific, right?
I think you said it. He's projecting. He's using projections to anticipate what is going to happen to the community.
And at no point in time, because I'm pretty sure he let these so-called black people representatives know what is taking place. So they send out these projections, these analysis. It's called college. In college they call it college algebra, where they deal with bar graphs and all this stuff. I did this in my graduate type shit, and basically there was a system way back then where you can actually go on the computer and they'll show you how to go to all the different demographics, do pie charts, bar graphs, all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? And you can actually look at the projections and see what would take place mathematically if it continues into the future based on what's going on. Money and everything. So this guy, this is what I'm saying. Where you go? Come on back, Clyde.
All the research is coming to us that the next generation of whites are going to be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement.
Check.
2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time.
Check.
Which is going to kick black folk out of being the minority in the society down to a minority. We've been number 2 in the society.
Check. And he said we was number 2. White people, black people. That was it. He's saying number 2. I disagree with that. But he's talking more on a political realm, governmental type situation.
Social, economic realm.
Yeah, all that type of stuff. But we were doing just fine.
For 400 years as a group, we're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten in.
Check. Boy, a lot of boxes he's checking right now.
I think after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4. Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are because the country operates, you mentioned.
Woo, he said they're coming in higher than we are. Now, you hear a lot of things where people say, oh, well, shoot, we ain't worried about that. My whole premise, right? My introduction to this stream and talking to people was like, look, these people come over here with A1 credit.
No. Can we correct that? Because
What?
I saw a press conference where the Ukrainians were coming into California, and Gavin Newsom made a press conference, and he said he's giving them A1 credit. So it's not that they have it. He said, I'm giving them A1 credit because they need to get apartments and blah, blah, blah.
What's the difference, is this?
Oh, well, you know, okay.
Thank you. Ain't no difference. I said they come in with A1 credit.
All
The only
right.
way they can come in is somebody can escort them in. And when they escort them in, they take them right to INS and put them in these places. This is where they have these holding tanks for these people. And they get there and they train them. They got their teachers and everybody teaching them the language, teaching them bit. I mean, these people are getting a goddamn master's degree, a PhD in American business. And when they come out there ready to go set up shop.
They
all
ready to
that
go.
type of
They ready to roll. And
Remember
then they
we
looking
showed-
at you, right?
You remember we showed the other time where you was talking about, where you was letting me know about when they on these agricultural farms and stuff like that, and they being taught and they getting grants, and when they
Right.
get done with that, they coming out here with a full-blown business.
Yep. They're coming out with a full, yeah. So when you see, you know, like Juanitos, whatever, they have been trained for stuff that's only for them. And it's not just them. I ain't trying to, it's everybody. It's all, like he said, they all, like, you have an international wave of folks sitting on top of your head right now. And then we're too crazy to see it. And they got us tripping on the vote map thing. But you can't trip on the 80 million people who just showed up. That's nuts.
That's all I'm trying to say here. This is all I'm trying to say. Appreciate y'all bringing up Claude. I want to hear this again.
You know what? You probably should play that. You know how like Joe Biden got that one clip where he says America is doomed and black people need to learn how to beg from Mexicans for stuff. This needs to be played over and over along with that one, so people can understand what's going on.
Yeah, this is some good clippings going on here. I couldn't even clip the last one. I forgot I had to clean out that thing. So hopefully it'll be good. So one more time for the road.
That blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the year 2015. Why the year 2015? 2015 because what I've concluded from analysis is that there's going to be a converging of social factors nationally and internationally that's going to place blacks in a permanent status of underclassship. And we anticipate by that point in time, based on all the research coming to us, that the next generation of whites is going to be more anti-black than they've been since the civil rights movement. 2, we anticipate by the same token about 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and about 41 million Asians by that point in time, which is going to kick black folk out of being a minority in the society down to a minority. We're number 2 in society for 400 years as a group. We're going to become number 4. And if we have not gotten anything after being number 2 for 400 years, you guess what's going to happen when we become number 4? Because at that point in time, all the new groups coming into America, they're coming in higher than we are because this country operates. You mentioned that blacks will be pretty much a permanent underclass in America by the...
Man. Prophet
You know what? I seen this in real time. You know, I was watching Smoke's channel one time and Super was talking to that mulatto guy. And, you know, he was antagonizing him a little bit. Okay. And so he was just like, you know, what are you? He was like, you know, what are you guys doing out there in Texas? I'm sorry, there's an echo. Okay. So
y'all be mute up real quick, y'all.
So I was looking at the census in I think 2022, 2023, quote unquote, black folks was the majority of Texas. After 2023, Hispanics is the majority of Texas. Just in our lifetime, just in the last 5 years, 6 years, the demographics has changed in one state that we just saw.
But this guy would like to have us convinced that black people still run Texas. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, I had to use the right term. It is amazing that people still want to try to deceive the people as if we have not been swarmed by foreigners. Now, he just said Asians and Mexicans, but Asians can go all different type of directions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but Caucasian, right? You got these people coming up over here. I mean, come on, man. He's talking about he wanted, but this is the whole thing that we have right now, and that's political democratic talk to me, where you want to sit here and play Reverend Fried Chicken as if our people still in power and positions of power when you're not. Let me tell you something. If you pay taxes on your land, you own nothing. I'm gonna let you know that, period. So anybody talking all this stuff about this, that, and the other, man, stop it. Because all you're doing is lying to yourself or keeping yourself from jumping off a bridge when you find out you have no power. So all we do have, if anybody want to have that, and he's a prime example, is somebody that wants to manipulate his own mind and think he still has some power. All you got the power to do, and only thing that you can run is your mouth. And that's all you got. You ain't got no small army. You ain't got no militia. You have nothing that's going to back you at this time. What is going to back you? And people need to be real about what is actually going on. This is where we can get a solution. If you want to keep running this whole game and using these panels and these channels to be making up shit, man, you ain't shit. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. What's up, none of your business? How you doing, sis?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
Peace, none of your business. Peace.
Peace, sis. How are you?
I can't even hear her.
I'm doing well.
Uh-oh.
Okay. You can't. Okay, she can hear you.
Yeah, I heard you. Can you hear can he hear anyone?
Who can you hear me? You hear me?
Naughty, can you hear me, Naughty?
Oh, he came back. Oh,
you know what to do.
All right, sis.
Hey, Naughty, how are you?
Happy belated Mother's Day.
Well, thank you very nicely.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm still
Yes, ma'am.
enjoying
And
the Mother's Day. Go ahead.
American Empress, if you have children too, happy belated.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying the festivities of Mother's Day.
Why not?
No, I said I still am. I'm on my way to dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm on my way to a dinner right now for Mother's Day.
okay, cool. I mean, it's like this though, right? Because it's almost 5 o'clock. But I would look at it as, I think we need to be more realistic about the approach. And I'm glad you guys had me bring up Claude, because that's him right there, and that is something that nobody can refute.
Yeah.
No, nothing. You can't refute that. We actually are witness that in real time. And he said by 2015. I mean, I don't care if he said in 2014, but he said in 2015 this was going to happen. In 2015, that was going to happen.
So what can't be refuted? That he said it, or that he's some type of oracle because he said it?
No, the oracle part, that's just joking, But
okay.
I would say the fact that he actually, but he's not an oracle. He does his research, and we know from California, right? In California, in the late 80s, 90s, these folks was coming in. They started getting their jobs and stuff like that, and then, Armenians was coming up in here, Russians, all different type of people was coming up in here. And we knew people I grew up in South Sac, Filipinos, Tongans, Samoans, Fijis, all different type of people was was over here. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
but it was different a little bit. But it seemed like there was a new wave of people that was being brought over here that eventually came into an effect of like really just the hostile takeover. Really on that sense, but it really was more or less like Israel was saying. This was more of these benefits and these privileges that they were getting, government subsidies.
Let me
Not,
let me ask you something.
you know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Okay, I used to work in the government, and I know that all of these programs that are set up specifically for them, like they have foreigner Social Security, which they should not have because it's siphoning off of the regular Social Security.
Oh,
But go ahead, sorry.
wow.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how can we be in a uproar about how they're creating their citizenry?
No.
Their 13th and 14th, after they
We
created this
can.
13th and 14th thing, they had to add additional corporations to build up their United States emblem.
Says who?
We
We didn't
can.
say
Yeah,
so.
we can and we should be, but the problem is we did not know. We were, you know, oblivious to reality as to who we were. We were
Right.
running around hating America.
Yeah,
Not aware.
that's the main thing right there, Nadi. It ain't, under the circumstance we was 1 and 2, and obviously we know that there is a constant war. There's a declaration of war against our people. That's without a doubt. That's without a doubt. We know that. Yeah, that's without a doubt. Now, what they can do within their system, if it really is their system, but what I'm saying is what Claude has always said, and how he broke the whole thing down within the structure of things after 1965, when a democracy was created by these same brothers and sisters that's up here crying on these tubes. They set that up, and they set it up to what end? Eventually, that shit trickled down on us. You know what I'm saying? It trickled down on us, and then next thing you know, that's what happened. But the representation, Nadia, is what I have a problem with. And I also have a problem with people that want to continue that and not really talk about something that's actually real. But they want to sit there and do imaginary conversation, like, you know what I'm saying, to have some force. And people that talk like that are talking politics to me.
Yeah, I'm not talking nobody's politics. Not on this playing field because it's phony and it's fraudulent. But you're right about if it's in fact their system. But there are safeguards even within what looks like their system that doesn't allow them to do the stuff they're doing. So if they roll this way, we're supposed to bounce that way and cut them off at the pass. We're supposed to be controlling their system. Their system is not supposed to be mushroom clouding over us.
Can I give a little pushback?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is not their system. Everything that these people are doing has been created by us. Like everything, every form of industry, we have invented it all. All our inventions, our culture, our food. The food that people are eating here did not come from anywhere else in the world. It all came from here. So this is our system, and our system has been exploited and stolen. And it's stolen to the point that now we probably set ourselves back because we got complacent and loving, and we are the world, and we love everybody, and everybody needs to come and live in the United States. And so we didn't put no gates up around our house. And so now everybody is in our house thinking it's their house. It's not their house. It's our house. We built it. We built everything from the windows to the walls.
Right.
Right.
You right.
So the thing is that, this is not their system. This is ours. And the problem is they think it's theirs.
You're right, and they think
Re-
they're us. And my thing is, you're not giving me pushback because I agree with you. I'm
Okay.
vacillating. Yeah, I'm vacillating on if it's their system, it's a tiny system, and we're supposed to be over it. If it's our system, then everything you just said, and then there's one other option to where their system is on top of our system, type of thing. So it could be different ways. We just need to figure out
how to incorporate yourself in the system, how to be
how to
identified
control
through the
it.
system. Right.
Right.
So
How to
the
control
system,
it.
the system is
Because
written up in a format where they're identifying and defining certain individuals. Now, this 14th Amendment citizen, they already have a script on how they're gonna take how they identify the black that's represented as black as infants and infants as animals, and how they're gonna take this racial identity once they incorporated them under the all caps name. They're gonna strip this racial identity of taking them away from being animals and place them in a political format. And this political format is going to be represented in this definition. I got the document. I sent it to you, Aton, where you can read it. So it's like we're adapting ourselves under a premise with an identity that is going to benefit us to be recognized in this system that they're created. When I say created, they're writing the defining terminologies of what is what, and everyone else in the world are taking on these identities to be represented in this system. If it belongs to we should know how to operate automatically to not be in a fourth place position or even a second place position. So we got to understand that the cards that we're dealt and understand the game that we're playing is not really a natural game. We're natural people. We deal in a natural essence. Of course, yes, we can take mud and concrete and build a corporation or a building or a structure. Of course, we can do that. But when it goes into identifying it in a corporate entities, imaginated creation under a whole different script, we can't really say that belongs to us. Now we're calling ourselves the devils. We just got to know how to play that game. Once we come into this realization that we are in some foreign shit, we just have to know how to play that foreign game. And that's what we're missing. Because naturally, yeah, we are the creators. We know we're the creators naturally. That's in our
we
essence.
have to identify the throne and get on it.
Right. We got to identify it and move
Wherever
accordingly.
wherever they have it hidden, we got to find it, and we have to, you know, stick
Perfect it.
Excalibur, stick Excalibur somewhere, because this is our land. We own the land. So if we uproot them and get rid of them, we've won that way. Or if we take over the military and let them know, okay, mom and dad are home, we're back, do what we tell you to do, then there we go. But we could never trust them in authoritative positions ever again. They could never be in charge or control of even themselves, because I believe that we were supposed to be overseeing them, and somehow, they did what they did.
We walked out. We walked away from controlling them. That's why
Well,
that was in 1851, I believe it was,
well,
where
I
we
think
walked
that
out
had
of the
to do.
Continental Congress.
I think it had to do with they took our governors out, unalive them, and that's what Sister Bethy had shown on her channel. But I have to go because I'm here at this restaurant, so I wish I could continue. It's a nice conversation.
Eat
Well,
well,
I
eat
hope the
well.
food is good.
I
All
hope
is good.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Bye bye.
All right, sis. Well, yeah, we're gonna shut down anyway. This from Firekeeper. He brought this up here, I guess, for information purposes. People will know if they into this. USDA announces commodity payment rates for Farmer Bridge Assistance Program.
What did you say? It's for what? Can you read that? I'm sorry.
USDA announces commodity payment rates for Farmer Bridge Assistance Programs. So it says eligible producers to receive pre-filled program applications and payments in February. So let's see what it says here. Yeah, we got to get into that. All right, so let's get this. So this is Secretary announced the next phase in the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program. FBA, how about that? I think that was a joke. The eligible commodity per acre payment rates. Eligible commodity per acre payment rate. So commodity will be what you're growing and what you have of that per acre payment rate. So as announced earlier this month by President Trump and Secretary Rollins, $12 billion will be paid to American farmers in 2026. Of that amount, $11 billion consists of one-time FBA program payments. This is in response to 4 years of disastrous Biden administration. I mean, we don't care nothing about that.
FBA, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's what I said. That was a joke. They throw the joke.
Yeah, what the fuck? 'Cause
Yeah, they call
that's
it FBA, Farmer Bridge Assistance Program, FBA.
That's not a real organization. They're not
No, this is Farmer Bridge
representation.
The Farmer Bridge Assistance, right?
Oh, okay.
Bridge Assistance. Yeah, but that's a little inside joke, though. That's a little inside joke. That's how I take it. He's like,
That is absolutely an inside joke. For real.
Trump dirty. Trump say, yeah, let me show you something.
That's
crazy. Trump's something else, man. Boy, he got issues.
Goddamn Trump, boy. That's a joker there, boy. He's funny than a character. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, he just like to do that. Yeah, President Trump committed to increase certainty and
of how
then farmers can count on these payments rate, these payment rate calculations when going to the bank as they plan for the spring planting season. Putting farmers first means delivering real relief for the man. I don't want to hear all that. Farmers who qualify for the FBA program can expect payments in their bank accounts by February 28, 2026. So this is already passed.
Yeah.
These one-time payments give farmers the bridge to continue to feed and clothe America and the world. No wonder why a lot of these things coming out and these farmers been showing shit like they've been showing. This is kind of like that EIDL relief type stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that for the agriculture people.
They still doing that shit right now, that them loans, whatever.
It's a welfare program for probably the non-Black farmers. I mean, they're giving them, assistance.
But does that mean we don't go after it?
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this is another example of a bridge for certain people.
So $20 per acre of barley? What that ain't no money, no man.
It is a welfare program.
Yeah, commodity per acre payment rates. Barley, $20.51 per acre.
Cotton, $117. So it's best to go and do cotton.
Flax, $8. Mustard,
rice, $132.
So this would help those people with hundreds of acres of land.
Yeah, at least they talking about you got hundreds of acres jumping off. Yeah.
This is not to help the small farmers, to help the gazillion acre farmer. But But I do have to say, you know how earlier I was saying, like, you know, we created everything. This guy created a program called FBA. And we know everybody's on the internet arguing that Tariq Nasheed's talking about FBA. So they turned around within the year or a few years and came up with something called FBA.
Snatch that shit. Snatch
And
that shit.
incorporated it ASAP. They snatched that up.
Yeah, let me tell you about your FBA. How about that? Sheesh. This is what I said.
Damn. I hate to laugh at it, but damn. Nigga can't have shit, boy.
Can't have shit.
If you do, you better hurry up and know how to run it.
Right? Or it will be snatched.
It will be snatched.
Absolutely. I mean, damn. Hey, man, we made good time, man. 3 hours, 21 minutes. Yeah, I gotta get on some other things. I got some things I gotta do. So appreciate you guys coming up here. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Isness, Nadi,
Miss Isness, it's a pleasure, Miss Isness. I knew it was gonna take a long time to get close to you with your fire ass. But it's cool. It's cool.
All right, you guys. Well, you guys have a good night.
Yes, Mom.
All right.
All right, now.
All right, I am. Wherever you at.
Yeah, in back.
Better leave them white girls alone up there in Minnesota, goddamn. Them snow bunnies.
All right, Nadi. On the next one, man.
Okay, big brother. I'm gonna send you that little file like I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Yeah, appreciate that.
All right.
All right, brother. All right, Chief, I am wherever you at. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop you. Appreciate you coming up. All right, y'all. You know what it is. We about to do this. And after that's done, we're done.
Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't move it. Yeah. Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't move it.
I'm the coach, quotes coded in oak with a ghost loaded focus. Chrome in the coat, king with the cloak, smoking that hocus pocus. Infinite styles, pivot and pile up the mileage. I'm wild with the science. You see the line on my avatar, iron jaw pride. I ought to devour the silence. Why you niggas steady lying? Got me laughing hard, satire and fraud. I fire the squad. Wise get crossed when I'm sparring with all the guards. Author of art, carving a mark in the bark of the market at large. Target the sharks, heart of a Spartan. I sharpen the margin with bars. You rather bargain and dodge. I'd rather you come get your taxes done. Black suit, back room, facts in a stack. I'm relaxing the maximum. Get out of the pocket, the profit of rocket. Then I just might tax you punch. Bracket your funds, I'm stacking in chunks. Reacting to acid, you're begging a punch. Sometimes my community, hard-headed, scarred, dreading the lessons. I chart head and start spreading the message. Embedded in pressure, sobbing living. I'm private with it, no corporate percentage. Discharging debt with a pen stroke. You still don't notice the vision. I've been telling y'all you don't want to debate me. Weighty and ready, great with machetes, linguistically shredding the petty. Grab these 15 acres. Landscape major, plan made paper, land patent stamped and sacred since my campaign greater. I ain't talking about Ice-T when I say that I can show you law and order. Court recorder, I sort the torture, contort the border. I eat the case, beat the state, leave a trace of the raw supporter. Briefcase aura, got your baby mama thinking that I'm a lawyer. Seminole Indian sentiment, militant on Summer and Sawyer. Private enrollment, tribal component. I'm the boss, you trying to employ it.
Clutch, baby, infinite.